All right, let's get into it. Imagine you've been playing a video game for, like, years. You've got all the moves down, you've collected all the power-ups, and now you're at the final level. Today, we're unlocking what I think is the final lesson from one of the greatest minds of our time, Charlie Munger.
I mean, just think about it. You've already armed yourself with all these powerful mental models, right? Things like inversion, circle of competence. You've been leveling up your thinking. You've been dodging all those little mini bosses like FOMO and jealousy. You have all the skills you need for what's coming next.
Because, every great game saves the hardest fight for last. It's that one thing standing between you and total victory. But this final challenge, it is not at all what you might be expecting.
Yep, you heard that right. The final boss isn't some crazy monster with 10 heads or, some complex algorithm you have to solve. There's no health bar to slowly chip away at. Actually, it looks deceptively simple. Almost kind of boring.
This right here, this is the entire challenge. This one sentence is basically the culmination of Munger's 99 years of wisdom, all boiled down. It's so simple to understand, but as we're about to find out, it's incredibly, incredibly hard to actually do.
So what does it even look like to beat this boss in the real world? Let's not just talk theory here. Let's look at a real-world example. Let's meet Alex. We're going to see what happens when someone really truly masters this one simple concept.
Okay, just look at this transformation in 1 year. At 14, Alex was pretty much like most of us, spending money on impulse, cramming for tests at the last minute. By 15, he chose the simple, kind of boring path, packing a lunch, waiting on buying digital items, studying just a little bit every day. And the result? He saved over $500, got himself a real skateboard, and aced his classes without all that last-minute stress. That is the power of just doing the simple thing.
So if it's that simple, why doesn't everyone just do it? Well, because our brains are basically wired against it. Our brains crave shortcuts and fireworks, not slow, steady consistency. And there are 3 huge hidden enemies that are always standing in our way.
Your first enemy is your ego. See, your ego doesn't want to be disciplined. It wants to be seen as special. It wants to be the hero that pulls off some impossible feat right at the last second.
And this just perfectly captures the trap, doesn't it? Your ego tells you that consistency is for, robots, not for geniuses like you. It would much rather risk total failure by cramming than accept the quiet, guaranteed success that comes from simple, daily effort.
Okay, the second boss, emotions. Your emotions are always the loudest voice in the room, and they demand satisfaction right now. They absolutely hate waiting for anything. Oh man, this is a perfect example. We've all been there. Logically, you know that scrolling isn't going to fix your anxiety. But in that moment, your emotions are just screaming for a quick dopamine hit to make the discomfort go away. And so you sabotage your long-term goals for just a few seconds of relief.
And the final hidden enemy is the tribe, or, what we usually call peer pressure. As human beings, we are just fundamentally wired to copy the people around us. And going against the group, it can feel absolutely terrifying.
This feeling is just so incredibly powerful. That fear of being left out, of being seen as less than, it can push us to make decisions that we know are not in our best interest, just so we can stay in sync with our tribe. So what's the cheat code here? Well, Munger figured out that the secret isn't learning 1,000 different strategies. It's realizing that these 3 enemies, ego, emotions, and the tribe, are behind pretty much every single major challenge in life. If you can beat them, you basically beat the game. The key insight is right here. Just look at this pattern for a second. Saving money? The simple part is spend less than you make. Getting fit? Eat well, move, sleep. Good relationships? Tell the truth, listen, apologize. The what to do is always simple. The hard part is always that internal battle against your ego, your emotions, and the tribe. If you can master this internal game, the external games become shockingly easy. So now that we know who the enemies are, let's talk about the weapons Munger gives us to fight them. Here's a quick, rapid-fire round of his most powerful advice, kind of translated for today. Munger was famous for this line, but why this specific number? Well, because earning and saving that first big chunk of capital forces you to defeat your ego, your emotions, and the tribe over and over and over again. It's like a trial by fire that teaches you the bedrock principles of how wealth actually works: patience, discipline, and the incredible power of compounding. And here are a few more gems. Be rational longer than others. Well, that's just beating short-term emotion.
Deserve a good friend? That's checking your ego at the door. Avoiding envy? That's managing your emotions and not getting sucked into tribe comparisons. And waiting. Man, waiting is the ultimate simple act that defeats all three of those bosses at once.
Seriously, if you only take one single thing away from this, let it be this. This was Munger's favorite saying. It's not about wishing or hoping or wanting. It's about becoming the kind of person, through simple, consistent actions, who is actually worthy of the things they desire. The universe isn't a vending machine, it's more like a mirror.
All right, let's wrap this all up with something a little different. I want you to imagine you just got a message, and it's from you, 10 years from now. This is what it says.
Just imagine that reality for a second. Total financial freedom, deep, real friendships. A life that is so well put together that other people can only explain it away by saying you got lucky. That is the prize for winning the game we've been talking about.
And here's the secret your future self wants you to know right now. It wasn't some lottery ticket. It wasn't a lucky break. It was the decision made day after day to stick with the simple, effective actions while everyone else was getting distracted by things that were shiny and complicated.
And that brings it all right back to this exact moment. The controller's in your hands. You can hear the boss music playing. Those three enemies, ego, emotions, and the tribe, they're whispering in your ear that simple is for losers, that you need a shortcut. And your future self is screaming back at you, telling you they are wrong.
The challenge has been set. The path is simple, but it's not easy. The real game isn't somewhere off in the future. It's starting right now. So, are you going to press play?